Let's take a look at all of the conventions that I attended during 2023. Hey guys, it's Jedi Lags, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at and kind of reminiscing on all of the conventions that I attended in 2023. I believe there's about 7 of them, and I enjoyed each and every single one of them, so I'm going to recap them in this video. However, if you're looking for a more in-depth review of each of the cons that I attended, I did make individual videos for them, and I've placed them in a convention event playlist, and I did attend a lot of events as well, so if you guys are interested in a video pretty similar to the one that I'm going to make now, I can definitely make that happen for all of the events that I attended. However, I'm super excited to do this video, so let's jump right into the first convention I attended. The first convention that I attended in 2023 was the Collecticon, which was hosted on February 25th in Orlando, Florida. So as you can see, it was a pretty big convention for me. I not only got my first autograph pop, however, I also got one of my all-time personal grails. So it was a pretty good convention. So we'll start with the autograph. So I got there early so that way I can get in line. And by the time I got there, the line was already so long. So we ended up getting our wristbands. And as soon as I got through the doors, I went to go find his booth. I ended up getting to see Steve Bloom, who was the voice actor for Zeb in the Rebels animated series, and it was such a cool experience getting to talk to him, and he even talked to me kind of using the voice that he used to voice the character Zeb. So I ended up getting my Zeb Funko Pop signed, which was so awesome. So it says Carabast, Zeb, so it was such a cool experience. I absolutely love the Rebels, and I actually, later on got a few more of my Rebels Pops signed. So this was the beginning of a means to an end of my goal of trying to get all my Pops signed. However, Zeb was the first one that I was able to do this year. Then, moving on to my personal grail, typically what I do at conventions is I'll do one walkthrough. I'll look at all the booths, everything that people have to offer, and I'll kind of just assess, because most of the time some of the vendors, they'll have the same items, but they'll have them at different price points. So to make sure that I'm not just buying the first thing I see, I'll do one walkthrough. I'll kind of see which booth had the best price, and then on my second walkthrough, I'll go back. So I was getting ready to finish up my first walkthrough, and I hadn't really seen anything, and I went up to this booth, and the guy came up to me and he was like, "Hey, what are you looking for?" And I was like, "Well, really, I am primarily just a Star Wars Funko Pop collector." He was like, "Oh, well, we don't really have anything. However, we do have a Grand Admiral Thrawn at our shop, which is 30 minutes away." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's 30 minutes away. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here. I kind of haven't really seen anything that I want to spend my money on, and I already got my autograph." And he was like, "Okay." So I ended up, kind of finishing my walkthrough, and not even 10-15 minutes later, this guy walks up to me, and he's holding the Thrawn. He's just like smiling at me, and I was like, "You know what? You went and got it, or maybe you had it and you just didn't realize, but it's the time." He made me a pretty good deal on it. It was $200 flat, I believe. So I ended up pulling Thrawn, which was the last Rebels pop that I needed for the initial wave. So, I mean, at that time, they weren't releasing more Rebels pops. I know that lately we just got another Grand Admiral Thrawn, which was a Target exclusive, and they are doing a Sabine, which is a box lunch exclusive. So I believe that they're doing those for the 10th year anniversary of Rebels. However, at the time, towards the beginning of the year, this was the one that I needed. It was the last one. So I ended up pulling the trigger and making the purchase. So overall, it was a great convention for me. I got my first autograph from Zeb's voice actor, and I got Grand Admiral Thrawn, which was the last piece to the Rebels collection that I needed, and I was just so happy that day. Then, at the beginning of March, I attended the Sunrise Comic-Con, which was hosted a little bit closer to home in Sunrise, Florida, so it wasn't nearly as much of a drive as it is to get to Orlando, as it is to get to Sunrise, for me at least. But overall, it was a much smaller convention, so going from Collecticon, which was absolutely massive, to the smaller one was a little bit of a jump. However, for being a small convention, they had some really good vendors. They even had the 501st there, which is always a really cool experience. They allow you to take pictures with them for free. You can make a donation, which I try to do every time. just for, letting them take as many pictures as I can with them and all the different characters that are kind of dressed up. And they even walk through the convention. So like they'll walk through the hallways. You'll just randomly see a Darth Vader walking past you with his stormtroopers. It adds such a cool layer to a convention, in my opinion. It's probably just because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but I think it's awesome. They even had a ton of food trucks. I've never seen so many food trucks at a convention before. Typically, the convention food I'm not a big fan of, so we'll leave, go get food, and come back. But this one, they had a ton of food trucks, so I pretty much just got to go pay and eat at the convention, which is very rare, at least for me. And lastly, I ended up running into Jedi Shaggy. As you could see, Shaggy Sabersmith, he was in the top picture standing next to me. He's a super cool guy. I've actually run into him a few times at other conventions and events this year, so definitely check him out on TikTok if you haven't already. But yeah, that was my experience at the Sunrise Comic-Con. It was pretty good. I think I picked up a few comics because I was really getting into comics this year, at least towards the beginning of the year. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So then the weekend following Sunrise Comic-Con, I drove down to Miami for the Super Fan Con, which I believe was on March 11th or 12th. It was around then. It was that weekend. However, it was a smaller convention, again, kind of similar to Sunrise Comic-Con. They had a convention floor that had about 35 vendors, I want to say, and they also had some special guests there, like Susanna Malik, who I actually got to meet and get an autograph for free at one of the other events that I attended later on in the year. However, it was pretty cool. I walked around, I found a few comics. I also found a Homestead Lego set, which was pretty cool, so I picked that up. And also, as you can see in one of those pictures, one of the vendors there had actually 3D printed a battle droid, which I thought was absolutely sick. And it was massive. I mean, compared to me, I feel like I'm pretty tall. At least I think I am. I'm 5'9", and that thing was towering over me. However, it was super cool to see. I've actually seen a few 3D printed droids at various conventions that I've attended this year. However, that was the first one that I actually saw, and it was pretty crazy. But yeah, that was the third convention that I've attended this year. Then in July, I attended probably the best and biggest convention that I went to, which was Supercon, hosted in Miami. And fun fact, in 2022, this was the first convention that I ever attended. Some of my buddies and I had just started getting into collecting Funkos, and we were like, you know what, we have nothing better to do. Let's just send it out to Miami. So we ended up driving down, and it changed my world. I was so mesmerized by everything that was there, the amount of Funko Pops and vendors. It was absolutely insane. And from there on out, I ended up trying to attend every and all conventions that I could go to. And I knew that I had to go again the next year. So this year, I decided to go, and it was a crazy experience. They have so many vendors, all kinds of things. Basically, anything you as a collector could be looking for, no matter what you collect, I'm sure you could find something there because it's just massive. And the 501st was there again, so I ended up going to their booth kind of halfway through the convention after walking around, and they had a huge setup here. So they had a whole bunch of different sections inside their little area, and each of them was dedicated to like a different Star Wars planet almost. They had a Tatooine setup, they had an Endor setup. Like, it was just absolutely crazy. I think you guys would absolutely love it if you're a Star Wars fan. And I posted a whole video about it, and I kind of videoed the whole thing. It was absolutely insane. However, while I was there taking pictures with some of the actors who were dressed up, the voice actors for Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and Anakin in the Clone Wars came, and they were taking pictures with all of the people from the 501st, and it was absolutely awesome. And in that bottom middle pic, I actually took that one, and it's probably the best picture that I've taken this year. It's them with a few of the other actors that were there, and it was just such a cool experience getting to see them interact. Then after that, they finished taking their pictures and they went to their booths. So I kind of followed them over there so that way I can get my autographs. And I first jumped into Matt Lantern's line, and he is such a cool guy. So I ended up getting my Anakin signed by Matt Lantern, his voice actor. So that was a pretty cool experience. Then after that, I jumped into Ashley Eckstein's line, who was the voice actor for Ahsoka. And I waited about an hour and a half, 2 hours, again, just like for Steve Bloom. But I was wondering what was taking so long. I mean, I did meet some people in the line that were pretty cool, and they made the time pass. But when I got up there, I realized why the line was taking so long. It's because she makes such a connection with each and every person that goes up. She talked to me. It was just such a cool experience. So I got her to sign my Ahsoka pop, which is really cool because the A for her name and Ashley, she kind of connects it down to the Ahsoka Tano. So I thought it was really cool. It was just such a memorable experience. It's something that I am never going to forget. And if you guys ever have the opportunity to meet Ashley, please take that chance because she's just such a nice person. Matt Lantern was really cool as well, but I was just starstruck. I do want to get Obi-Wan's signature, but I just didn't bring the pop that time, and it just wasn't in the cards. So I got their two signatures, and it was just such a great time. Best convention I went to in 2023 for sure. And at the end of August, I attended Ultracon, which was hosted very local to where I live, so this has just become a staple convention for me. I went last year and decided I would go again this year, and the 501st was there again. However, I didn't really take any pictures with them this time, but they had a very similar setup to what they had at Supercon, and I ended up running into, again, my guy, Shaggy Sabersmith, so we pretty much just talked and walked around the whole time. He is a super nice guy, so definitely check him out. And I ended up picking up quite a few items. I got the prototype Boba Fett, which is a soda, and it's the chase version. I got the 2022 May the 4th Be With You pin, which had Grogu on it, which I absolutely wanted. I didn't get it last year, so I took my opportunity. It was pretty cheap. And I also got a Grogu fig pin, which was pretty cool. And then I picked up 3 of the canon comics. So because I love Rebels and I collect comics, the canon series is perfect for me. So I've been trying to get each and every single one of them. So I was able to pick up 3 there. And I think at this point, I really only need 1 or 2 more, and then I'll have the whole series complete, minus a few variants here and there. But overall, it's a pretty cool convention. They had a lot of bigger booths, but they had a lot of vendors, and I got to pick up some cool items and hang out with my guy, Shaggy. So yeah, it's a pretty cool event. Then in September, I made my way back up to Orlando for the Fanboy Expo, and I had actually attended this convention as well in 2022, so I decided to come again. However, in 2022, I felt like they had a few more heavy hitters in terms of celebrities and voice actors, etc., that were at that event than there was this year. However, I still was able to pick up quite a few items from various vendors. I got a Jabba the Hutt blue box, which was pretty cool. I got some art pieces from, I believe the artist is Rick Grimes, and I also got some really cool coasters from Giacomo Bracels, and I also ran into Eben the Collector and Lainey Byers, who are also fellow YouTubers, well, Star Wars YouTubers. So overall, it was a pretty cool event. The 501st was there again, walking around, and one of the guys actually had, well, I don't know if he was a part of the 501st, but there was another gentleman there that had a R2-D2 that was very realistic, and he pretty much rolled around the entire convention making noise, and the guy that controlled him was letting people take pictures. So of course, I had to go take a picture. But yeah, that was the Fanboy Expo in Orlando, and I believe that was my 6th convention this year. And the last convention that I attended, or, will be attending in 2023 with the year coming to a close, was Spooktacular, which was hosted in Tampa in October. And the original reason that I really wanted to go to this was because the voice actors for Hera, Ezra, and Kanan were all going to be there. However, towards the day of the convention, Freddie Prinze, who voices Kanan, actually pulled out of the convention. However, I had already bought my tickets and made the arrangements to go, so I still sent it anyways, and I made sure to get there early because the prior conventions that I had attended, when I was trying to get autographs, it took a very long time and people were already in line. So as soon as we got through the doors, I went right to the signing area and there was no one there. Granted, I did go on a Sunday. It wasn't the first day of the convention or Saturday when most people go. However, there was no one there, and I was utterly shocked. I had allotted all this time to get my autographs because I wasn't sure how long it was going to take. Prior, it's taken me about 2 hours at most. So I was like, so I ended up jumping into Vanessa Marshall's line, who voices Hera, and I got her signature first. So here is that one. So it says XO Vanessa Marshall Hera. So that was absolutely awesome. She was so nice to talk to. I was absolutely amazed. And then after getting her signature, I jumped into Taylor Gray's line, who voices Ezra, and I got his signature as well. So there is that one, Taylor Gray. So it was a super cool experience getting to talk to them and get their autographs. And my sister actually took a video of them signing it. And Vanessa Marshall actually like waved and said hi to the camera, because typically you're not supposed to do that. So I was trying to get her to do it like very slyly, but she made it super obvious. So Vanessa Marshall was really cool about it and waved at the camera and everything, which I actually added to the video for Spooktacular, for the Spooktacular, if you guys are interested in that. So then pretty much, yeah, we had all afternoon to just walk around, because there was a Rebels panel that day, which is why I decided to go on Sunday, which I believe was at 2 o'clock. So we got there super early thinking there was going to be such a long line to get these autographs, and that by the time I had gotten them, it would be time for the panel, but I was so wrong. So what we did was we just walked around the convention floor, and it was a lot of horror stuff. I am not big into horror at all, so I didn't really pick anything up other than just getting my autographs. Then we got lunch, and we just waited until the panel started. We did some homework, whatever. Then the panel started, and it was absolutely awesome. Vanessa Marshall and Taylor Gray answered a lot of questions, and they even let some of the people in the crowd ask questions. So I actually got up there and asked a question myself, and I posted some of their responses, as well as the question I asked and their response to me, in the Spooktacular video as well. So if you're interested in that, definitely go check out that video. However, after all of that, we went back to their booth, because they mentioned, hey, come say hi to us or whatever at the end of it. So after the panel, we went back to their booths and we talked to them. They both thanked me for the awesome question I asked them, and we even exchanged social medias, and Vanessa Marshall actually followed me back, which was super awesome. So I got 2 more signatures on my Rebels pops, so now I have Zeb, Ezra, and Hera. So it was a super awesome event. However, because it's horror-based, I probably wouldn't go again. The only reason I went was because the 3 of them were supposed to be going, so if there's not really any voice actors or celebrities that are going to be there next year, I probably won't go again, just because I'm so scared of horror stuff. But it was a really cool experience getting to meet them, and it made the entire convention and the trip worth it. So I was super grateful for that experience. Those are the 7 conventions that I attended in 2023, and as you can tell by some of those pictures, I made some awesome memories. I was able to get some autographs on my Funko Pops from some of my favorite voice actors from the Clone Wars and the Rebels animated series, and I was also able to pick up quite a few items from Funko Pops, Funko Sodas, comics, coasters, pins, you name it. I probably picked it up this year. But 2023 was a great convention year for me, and I'm hoping that 2024 will be about the same, if not better, because there are some heavy hitters that I really want to attend that I wasn't able to get to this year, such as MegaCon in Orlando and ICCC. So I'm really hoping I'll be able to go to those. But either way, by watching this video, if you haven't attended any conventions, I hope that this inspired you to go, because conventions are some of my favorite things to go to. It kind of just takes me to a new world on the weekends, and it teleports me into a place where I can just be my nerdy self and just geek out with a bunch of other collectors, whether they're anime fans, Star Wars fans. It's a very welcoming experience, and I enjoy every con that I go to. Yes, some of them are definitely better than others. However, they are all memorable in some shape or form. So definitely try to get out there and go to some of these conventions. They are always a great time, and I'm hoping I'll be able to go to a ton more in 2024. But I think that pretty much just wraps up this video. So as always, guys, thank you for watching my videos. I'll see you next time. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, as well as subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, or even click to watch one of my other videos, and may the Force be with you.